I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the Best Rapper in LA podcast. And I'm your host, Murs. What up, though? All right, y'all. So we missed the episode. I believe this is 31. We didn't miss an episode. The episode was done, but as I went over it and walk like a man, there's just things that couldn't be talked about. Things that don't involve me, things that involve friends, family, so-called friends, so-called enemies. Oh, whew, I love everyone in the name of Jesus Christ, but there was a lot of things I didn't think about. A lot of real shit went into making that fantastic song. And some real shit needs to stay, I hate to be cliche, but in the streets, or in some, not really in the streets, in real life. I said what I said on the song. Those who know which parts are fake. I never killed anybody. Let's be clear on that. And even so, I guess in the state of California, God bless them, that couldn't be held against me in the court of law, because it is a story. But a lot of real shit went into that story. So much so that episode of the podcast will not be released. Sorry. What I can tell you about that song without a heavy heart or having to look over my shoulder or offend or bring up any heartful memories from people involved, mostly is just an emotional thing and a respectful thing. What I can tell you is that the song was used 3 different beats that was inspired by Speak It Clout. I worked all night on that fucking song. And Ninth Wonder, I cried writing that song. And Ninth Wonder heard me spit the first part and said, okay, I know what we about to do. I'm gonna change the beat right there, like Speak It Clout. And once again, us having the same passion and knowledge and love of the art. I got it, what he's talking about immediately. It was hard for me, being a rhythmically challenged rapper, to change this heartfelt story in a way that could be on beat, basically be palatable. It's hard for me to rap on beat, once again, in a room full of people I don't know, telling a story that is still to this day very heavy for me. My best friend never died, clear that up. But I was processing my legitimate fear, what I thought, and some people write off as paranoia, but for 300 million Americans outside of the inner cities of America, life doesn't involve, and maybe even more, life doesn't involve actual fear of death by gun violence. When I grew up, police have shot people, black people have shot black people, brown people have shot black people in the inner city of all races shoot each other. And in this country, there's too many mass shootings, as we all know. But before mass shootings were reported the way they are, I was in fear of my life. And I believe legitimately, I don't know many people outside of people like me who have friends that have been shot, who have friends that have been murdered. Before my brother got through junior high, one of his friends was murdered due to gang violence. And he was not involved in a gang. And it wasn't a stray bullet. My neighbor to the north of me, the neighbor to the south of me, both were shot at different times. Ironically, or not ironically, but I don't say funny enough. I don't know the word for it right now. But affecting both of their basketball careers, which were very, very talented basketball players. I am in Living Legends, lucky, kindly, like a big brother took me in, because his little brother that I was friends with, not his little brother, but in our culture, his next door neighbor he grew up with, his younger next door neighbor was like a brother to him, who is a brother, I'm going to just say it, was murdered with a gun. So these are real fears and legitimate fears I'm processing. I'm also fearful of my friends. As I stated in Last Night I Got Shot, like West LA is just a bunch of Crip gangs that a lot of them have beef with each other.
Now in LA, as you know, there's a war going on, and it's been going on since before I was born. Though the undisputed origin has yet to be formed, it all used to down to the red and the blue. But that got fucked up as the many led the few. Now there's bloods killing bloods and Crips killing Crips. That's niggas killing niggas. They play kickball with it. Ain't as simple as it was.
And a lot of people I became friends with, and I say grew up with, but back then we were just getting acquainted or becoming homies or active in that lifestyle. A lot of our little homies, our younger brothers, their cousins, my little brother actively claiming a gang. I am processing this. So when I say my best friend died, my best friend could have been my brother, could have been my actual best friend, could have been one of the homies, could have been one of the homies' little brother. I was trying to process, it could have been me. I was trying to process what was happening in my neighborhood, not even my community, on my block, and overall in our community. Something I've been processing since, I have been having a dream that I got shot and killed since I was a teenager, since early teen, probably preteens.
Last night I had a dream that I woke up dead. A motherfucker put some money on my head. Cold sweat, wide awake in my bed. I guess I should've took my meds. I'm so sedated, self-medicated, hoping that the threats on my life are never predicated. If this the price of fame, I should've hesitated. I don't wanna die.
So this is what this song is, to put it succinctly. That's it. I feel that this is a song that inspired Duckworth. Could be wrong, I could, but it's never been said in any of the interviews I've seen, so I want to say it, and not to toot my own horn, but just for prosperity's sake. I'm pretty sure the great Kendrick Lamar heard this record. I know that the great Ninth Wonder made this record, and when he wanted to tell a story on his record, Damn, he got Ninth Wonder to do a beat that changed 3 times.
Oh, Lamar, Hail Mary, your marijuana times is hard. Pray with the hooligan, shadows all in the dark. Fellowship with demons and relatives, I'm a star. Life is one funny motherfucker. A true comedian, you gotta love him, you gotta trust him. I might be bugging, infomercials and no sleep. Introverted by my thoughts, children listen, it gets deep. See, once upon a time inside the Nicholson Garden Projects, the object was the process and digest.
I feel that this song, Walk Like a Man, was the inspiration for that. I could be wrong. There's also a short film made about it and a soundtrack.
Doing our thing out here, you know what I mean? Get money in the streets. You know what I mean? Come on, dog.
How long we gonna have to struggle with this shit, dude? I ain't trying to be one of these rap cats that put in mad work and never get nowhere with this shit, man. It ain't struggle if it's love. Yes. Just don't feel too much like love right now. I feel like I'm just fucking this bitch.
Stand up, put the gun in his jeans, saw wince from the pain as the heat burned his waist, and he turned up the black.
Shout out to my homie Eric Payton, who is now, I think, the head of Unanimous Films with Steph Curry. He's done a lot of documentaries. You've seen Steph's documentary. But he called me, or he called a friend called Ian Davis, who hooked me up with Ninth Wonder, who also hooked me up with John Cena. Shout out to ID. This era of my life is very pivotal and not possible without him. Thank you. He hooked me up with some of his friends who were friends with Eric. They called me, sent me a script. They wanted to do their senior thesis on Walk Like a Man, make a short film. I ended up fronting a lot of money for it. We did it on film. If you listen to the podcast, you know I'm a cinephile somewhat. I wanted to go to NYU for film or music business. Love Spike Lee, John Singleton, Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith. These were the people making the films that I loved at the time. Wes Anderson. I wasn't loving his films yet. I don't fuck with Bottle Rocket and Rushmore. Sorry. He doesn't put a lot of black people in his films, so we're fucking even, but you're great. Speaking of black and white people, I know we might have lost some listeners after then. This is 4 episode, but people get offended. I fuck with America heavy. I fuck with white people heavy. We're in this shit together. Shout out to my brother Davis Powers, who's listening to the podcast. I had no idea. He's been doing great podcasting, great work. He's the reason that Ground Waves exists, which is my open mic and mentorship program. Shout out to Jesse Elliott, who also has assisted in spreading this gospel via Ground Waves. 2 white men that I love dearly that don't rap. So my white friends are outside of rapping and, yeah, it's all love. So I felt like some people, I needed to clear that up. There was a sub-tweet that leaked out. It's always one asshole, but I think the majority of people, and as I said before, the homie Rob, who's I talk to more than I talk to my brother now, unfortunately, about this podcast, is a white male, and I asked his opinion. So I'm not just in a vacuum assuming things and taking liberties. I really do, it's not only like, Black people are hypersensitive about things, and we like our feelings to be respected. And I think that it's not, it's not popular to say it's not an easy time to be a white man in America. I'll tell you that right now. So I asked him as well. I bounced it off of him. And if anyone took offense, like I said, it's a discussion. It's not, it's funny because a lot of those people be the same people to cancel me without a conversation. And those are the people that hate cancel culture. It's so weird. I digress. The film was made, Eric and Peyton and I became friends, more so than the other directors for whatever reason. I love those guys too. My wife is friends with one of their wives. Small world, man. But John Mazik, who went on to create GGN, he came to me. I showed up to my first day on set of my own short film with CDs like I'm still hustling. I never got rid of that hungry feeling. I'm paying at that point, I think, for half, maybe 85% of the movie, fresh off of the 3MG show, which I probably will do a podcast talking about Grand Caravan to the Rim of the World, and just for Patreon only. We'll have to skip over, for time's sake, skip over a lot of side projects, creative differences. I want to talk about classic. I want to talk about all that's happening around this time, but I can't do all of them unless we have some significant sponsors coming in. And I would love to be able to do it in a format where I can get Scarab and Eli's input, Lucky, Sunspot, everybody's input. I'm trying to work on that now when I tell those stories. But my perspective will probably just go straight unedited, rough and raw to Patreon. John Mazik, dude from Oakland, he was doing lighting, and I treat everyone, I try, treat the janitor the same as the CEO type vibes, but he's not a janitor. He's a very talented director, but I didn't know that. He was a dude doing lights, and I was like, yo, here's my CD. This is a CD we're basing the film off of. Like, everybody on set should have one. And he went home and actually listened, and this is how you do shit. That's just for people coming up to, I know a lot of the home Groundways families and young homies listen to this. This is how I told my son that this morning, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. He was ready. He came back next day. Like, I like Hussle. I think that's the one. I want to shoot a video for it. Elle had already paid for us to shoot a video for Batman, and that was it. Nothing else was gonna come of it unless I did it. And so this is another way to make shit happen. I'm paying for my own short film to be shot about my album. I then went to the set of the short film, and the guy's like, I want to shoot a video for this song. I then paid for that video to be shot, which, and I think you take steps out on faith and in belief. And I had no idea that we were going to shoot the video, and that day John Cena was going to be in town doing a casting for the Marine 3, and he was down to come to South Central. But I didn't know by showing up to the homie's house to work on whatever to work on this short film, that John Cena would be there one day, and I could give him the CD and he would do a verse and turn it in the next day. I didn't know all of this stuff. I didn't know by just being friends with, I didn't know by getting into a argument. All this started because I got into a confrontation with someone backstage, and my tour manager put me in the van to get my stupid ass out of the fire. And then I ended up talking to ID, who ended up putting me on the phone with Ninth Wonder, playing me the Ninth Wonder beats. I put him on all this is just showing the fuck up and putting your money in your mouth. I'm just showing up in Ninth Wonder. So I was like, what's up? Let's make a record, bro. You step out on faith and you do the work. Had I not been freestyling every day, had I not been telling my son all the time, like, I didn't go to school. Why? Because I was working on being a rapper. I was outside freestyling. Sidebar, I was out freestyling with Anacron, who has a crew, and I think I'm still part of the crew, Peanut Gallery. You can see the story on my Instagram, but the Peanut Gallery, all around the world, people in Amsterdam, all over the world are in the Peanut Gallery now, and each of them chose a song from my first album, For Real, and they remixed it. It's out now, streaming everywhere.
I rock the mic like it's my last chance to breathe. Display a level of skill you can only hold to achieve within this lifetime, and I write rhymes that'll make marks. Shut the fuck up when I recite mines. Place syllables on snares like mine, so I'm guaranteed to blow up when I touch down on tracks. Watch your whole crew collapse like households.
Just awesome to be able to still connect with my friend. Anacron was the first person I recorded a rap with in the studio when we were 13, 14 years old. He's a consummate musician, jazz musician. He's a very fit person, amazing graffiti writer, b-boy. And DJ. He does all the things and does them extremely well. And so does the crew. check out For Real the Gallery remixes.
I'm gonna throw in my tip. But normally, I wouldn't do this. Never mind what you normally do, someone should have warned you. But then again, my style, too sick to predict. Kinda like that emergency broadcast shit before the earthquake hit. But this is a test to see how long you'll shut the fuck up and listen to the statement of my men. You said, wow, that I got your attention. There's no thing out there you will never say. But one of the dopest rules out the bay. So what's that I heard you say? But when I call your name, you'll know it always been a man before a poet. So I never been into having a backstabbing. Only got 3 problems, BD's, alcohol, and Mike grabbing.
But yes, stepping out on faith for me has always worked, but I've been working on it. I got ready so that I could stay ready, so I wouldn't have to get ready when the opportunity presented itself. And same thing with money. I just finished paying bills. I don't know how, but if I see something that's a song I have with Sick Jack and called Pay Dues, you invest in yourself and you always win.
Rolling with them psychos, it's a new chapter. Pay respect cause I pay my dues. A real hustling motherfucker ain't afraid to lose. You keep your head up and stay out of the pen. You invest in yourself and you always win.
Pay dues. Yeah, man, we pay dues. You won't understand the things we've been through. Pay dues. Yeah, man, we pay dues.
To me, that's my thing. If you invest in if you act out of love and pure, when I was getting into this altercation, I don't know if I would have been able to talk to ID if I was getting drunk or chasing tail or whatever would have happened after the show. But my confrontation backstage was from a place of love. I love my homies. Somebody was trying to sue them. It turned into anger, but everything's either based on hate or love to me. Fear or hate and fear are similar. Because I love my homies, I was standing up for them because I loved Living Legends, and it was a love thing. And, that and respect. And the gentleman I was arguing with wanted the respect of, I want to be paid for my work. We just disagreed on how the method he went about it. And we ended up doing business later, but that's not the point. I ended up in the car just acting pure intentions and pure. I like to act out of love and faith. And those are and service. I want to work. I want to make the culture better. I want to make music that enhances people's lives. I want to, me and Ninth went together and, this album, whatever for the money, but it presented us both opportunities to do more. This got me. I feel like this is an album that, Kendrick and many other Mac Miller people that showed me respect heard and were like, I fuck with you off of this. And I was able to do a couple songs with Kendrick.
Producer meets the rapper, he's the former, I'm the latter. Spacing out these bars so you niggas can climb on. I'm proof that you can still make loot and keep your rhyme strong. Burn out the industry as hot as my performance. Be the mainstream dream meets the nightmare of normalcy. The anti of everything cool. Still most likely to succeed cause there ain't no rules, yeah.
My nigga, we out here, photo cutlass, and arsenal for your luggage. Don't trap. You fabricate to the public, we don't believe shit. Believe it or not, call your bluff, then leave your ass with knots. The juggernaut that's in your rectum, car park and resurrect them. I'm sure to cause a spectrum, especially when my mental telepathy start to F them. AKA fuck them, AKA nothing.
The one that Kendrick asked me to be on, She Needs Me remix, which is still one of my most streamed songs, so thank you for that. And the kids I mentor think that I'm really cool because I know him and he knows me and he respected my raps.
I up and walked out, now she crying cause she need me. I got that John Bryan love, had to find love. We call it punch drunk, we was a 2-piece, she was a 1-punch. You know a knockout, and if she was to walk out, my heart would go black, shrivel up and drop out. There we go again, what the fuck you talking about? We used to fuck all the time back at my mama's house, smoking BDs, laying on the futon. Memories I got saved up like a coupon, and we be too gone off a sack of stress weed. I was broke then, couldn't cop the best weed, and she would just leave in a black hatchback. Homies from the hood used to ask me if I tapped that. I would say yup, smiling so freely. That was back then, but I bet she still need me. She need me, she need me, she need me, she need me. I would say yes, smiling so freely. That was back then, I bet she still need me.
That girl is smoking, and can you believe that I'm her focus? It ain't hard to see she got me open, and together we are roller coasting on.
And I was able to, you know, work with Mac Miller and yeah, we have a song over Ninth Wonder beat.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the Messiah, a rebirth of creatures who bowing to the Most High. They knees hurt from praying to the what's his face, begging to be blessed. There's something above me, I'm just a god of what's left. Cut the check, I was gone for a year off the fructose, contemplating putting fucking bullets in the suit coats. Who knows? Go duel with a wizard, wave a magic wand, turn summer into winter. I worship from warships, play PGA courses.
Like all of this starts after that show. It continues but it became visible because I put money into the Hussle video when I didn't have to because I'm not the label. I could have bought a chain. Once we get into Murs Revenge, we'll talk about that. I could have bought a new car. Could have done a lot of shit. I could have invested in property. I could have bought stocks. I chose to invest in my art and myself. Yes, you want to make a movie? I can't act, but fuck it, I'll try. Yeah, we can make this Hussle video. Yeah, John Cena just happened to be in town that day. Cool, it got made. Then I had to pay for all of it because I didn't expect it. They came to me saying they were going to pay for the short film, and then slowly but surely they couldn't afford it. So I ended up having to pay for it. I could have said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it if I had to put in my own money. A lot of people are like that, and it's smart. But I was like, fuck it. Now I'm like calling Atmosphere and Sean and Blueprint, Kais. God forgive me if I don't mention you, but will you guys give me a song to put on the soundtrack so I can have a DVD with the soundtrack? Some of my favorite albums are soundtrack. The I'm About It soundtrack goes so fucking hard.
My partner gave me $50, put me in the game. I've been slanging weed and I moved up the cane. Pushing them ballers, slanging them quarters. I got them 2 for 3, goddamn it, I'm a baller. Pushing them weight from state to state. Niggas ride dirty on my mobile phone. It's UGK,
The Boys in the Hood soundtrack, New Jack City soundtrack. I grew up on soundtracks. Now I get to make my own soundtrack and make my own movie. I was fucking over the moon and in debt. And my friends came through and gave me songs that I could put on there to sell the DVD. I think Basement distributed it, and I think I eventually made my money back. And I didn't do it to make money, but now I was whole. I made my money back, and I think as the kids say, I elevated my brand. But so many people start to count pennies, and I'm just like, fuck it, man. It's an idea. I made a movie called Mall Dogs, commercial for us on Amazon Prime.
The stakes is high.
We're gonna shut this place down.
Looks like we all about to lose our shops. Now, to get the money back.
There's a big sign there. They're giving out $20,000 for the winner of some bowling tournament.
3 friends must roll with the big dogs.
Still strange to me. Put it on the big screen so it's plain to see.
You guys bowl?
Me, Italian D. That was the strategy.
What's your team name?
I'm on Mall Dogs.
Mall Dogs on 3.
Dumped about, I don't want to say how much money into it, but it's not very good. But I did it because I wanted to make, since before I made Walk Like a Man, I wanted to make a full feature. So when I got to a place where I own a couple pieces of property, I was stable, I was like, I called the homie Spanky, who is friends with Eric Payton, who, because of me building this relationship with Eric, we continued to make movies and make videos and films. Eric went on to direct more videos for me and direct MCTV. It became I got him on as the director of all the Rock the Bells footage that existed, many pay dues footage that people haven't seen, the years of that. He was over a lot of that. But I met Spanky through him and whatever. It's been a lot has come from that and this song and this album. So those things, the brief, real shit I could talk about, the Kendrick song and the DVD short film all turned into larger relationships that have paid dividends, that continue to pay dividends. These are things that actually happen. I record this song. I come home. I go to the movies. See a film called The Last Samurai. I still remember.
For 6 months' work, I am to receive 3 years of captain's pay, teaching Orientals to soldier. What can the general tell me about this man, this samurai, Katsumoto?
During the End of the Beginning tour, which preceded the recording of 316, as I said, I had an opportunity to dip out. I think this was an opportunity to dip out and go to Warner Brothers to do a whole album with LP, do a record with Ant. Like I had a lot of opportunity to do a 3MG record. No, 3MG. Yeah, we did a 3MG record. No, we didn't. We wanted to do it. So I wanted to do a lot of things, but I was still very much in my neighborhood. And my brother, I've talked about him on the podcast. He wanted to do something. He's produced, like I was putting out, They Don't Have This Either. And we talked about it. We're going to the studio, I think off in 20's Hood. That was crazy. And, like I said, there's guns and blah, 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 but we were doing hip hop. He still, he loved Freestyle Fellowship and E40 just like I did. But his actual life resembled more of the street lifestyle, and I resembled more of the backpacker lifestyle. But we both were familiar with the both sides of the spectrum. We decided to come together, get some of these kids in our neighborhood, like I said before, we're very concerned for and concerned with, start a label and let's get them on. And I said, you know what? Let me do this Ninth Wonder thing, and then I'm coming back. Still hip hop, but as we talked about, it's more black and getting that audience because I'm losing black fans. And I'm more than any other underground, I'm outside in the black community. Like I'm at Earl's, I'm on Crenshaw, I'm, at my family's cleaners on Central and Adams shooting, like video. I'm outside, bro. Like, not outside in the way that I'm gangbanging, but I'm part of this community for real. African Marketplace, I don't even know if that'll still happen at that, but anything black that's happening and positive, I'm definitely trying to be a part of it. And if it's not positive, I'm still at Hollywood Athletic Club here and there, or, definitely wasn't pulling up to Stars, some of the strip clubs, but it was important to me to try to salvage that. So we had that plan. I was sending money back to get little studio time, get little tapes pressed up, we were getting them the fictitious business license, shit like that. And when I tell you my dude is that guy, he's that guy, but he still had his business shit. He was the guy at that point that I would call if shit went left. He was the first dude that I saw as a father that really made me think about oh man, I want to be a dad. By this time, I believe he was married with 3 girls. So I get home, go right out to record Ninth. I come back. I know this Ninth record is going to come out. It's going to do well. Then we're going to go with this label. The label was named after the neighborhood gang with the initial. I didn't even get it till I was so out of that mix. Me and my homie, we butted heads. Because as our neighborhood started to get more hot and in more conflict, he became a lot more outwardly from the hood. And I was like, bro, this is us. We're not them and they aren't us. We're cool with them, but they aren't us. If we stay us and we protect us, our block, then we don't have to get into a lot of more bullshit. Not that I don't have love for them, not that I don't have respect for them, but man, come on. And he was like, nah, he banged on me. I was like, all right, that's what it is, man. I just talked to another brother today. That's having those hard conversations, men having hard conversations. Most men don't want to have conversations about feelings or can't have a confrontation and still stay friends. That's what I like about Bloods and Crips and a lot of real people who really live by the code. Like, man, we're friends. We disagree. I know you could kill me, but you respect that I have the heart to disagree with you. And I have the respect to when you say this is what it is. All right. But we don't have to not be friends. And we still continue to work together. And he got one over on me by naming the label after the hood, but I didn't see it and I didn't care. But it probably would have been some problems later on once I realized that. But we were going to go forward and do business because we love music and we loved our community. Once again, Sister Queen Nikki Giovanni, this is my side. My brother is not here to tell his side. So, everyone has a side to the story. There's my side, his side, and the truth. But I'm trying not to exaggerate. I don't need to look tough. I don't need to look cool. I am hurt. I'm sitting and watching The Last Samurai. and I get a call, and I never pick up the phone in the movies, or it was a three-way, I don't know if it was a two-way pager moment or what, but I remember seeing it came from my best friend, and I was like, I gotta get this. And he's like, they shot him. He's on life support at Daniel Freeman. He's on life support at Daniel Freeman Hospital. Hospital is across the street from the Inglewood Cemetery. Places I never been to Daniel Freeman. The Forum is there. I don't like the Lakers, and that side of town was very unfamiliar for me. Last time I was in Inglewood, I went to jail, as we talked about on Varsity Blues. So wasn't the finest Inglewood. I am becoming very fine. I live in Inglewood now. Love it. But at that time, my youth, the way I dressed, the way I spoke, what I did, what I was doing, I didn't feel safe over there. And I had no business over there. So I went there, though, and held his hand. I talked to him. I told him like what we needed to do, what we had planned, and why he had to get up, why he had to live, why it was so important. And he didn't make it. They pulled the plug. His mom called us, let us know. His wife was there. And this is when life is lifing, bro. Like she called me, she said we had just moved or got approved for an apartment in a whole nother hood. And if you know the apartments, I'm going to say this now, hopefully this doesn't offend anyone. She's like, yo, what she told me, she's like, this is basically off 59th and Crenshaw. And if you know, you know. I'm like, oh, I got to go over there. I needed to get their stuff out of storage. Some of the homies got the stuff out of storage. And then we had to move them into this place. This is a group of men. Some of us gangbang, some of us don't. The day after our homie died, like the babies, there's I think a 4-year-old, a 6-month-old, and an 8-year-old that just lost their dad, and they are out of their apartment. They were heading to move the next day. They had to be into this place. I had to go in and talk to the OG from over there and be like, he's sitting on the stairs in the corner at the top of the thing. And luckily, because my dude when I say he was that dude, he had already gone in there and spoke to him and let him know, this is where I'm from, this is what I'm doing, this is my wife, these are my babies, and this is what it is. And it was cool. And he said, yeah, we sorry you lost your bro. We know what happened. Because he died at a funeral for someone else who had died as a victim of gun violence. Just put it that way. This is the shit that I don't think people understand when they listen to these songs about homicide and gang banging and shit like that. People criticize me for how I talk or whatever, man. I lost a lot. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and it is what it is. But yeah, so I had to go in. I don't know what this dude's about to say to me. He could have been like, fuck your dead homie. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, our hoods don't get along. But that's when you have real ones, like, there is honor. And I respect that. And all of us have been not real at some time, but I'm grateful for the ones that have kept it real with me when they could, and he did. And I moved the girls in. We had the funeral. We dug that hole for him. There's a lot more details, and there's songs. I processed this for albums and albums to come till I had to make myself stop talking about it. So damn, I don't have a producer for the next record. Before this 316 even comes out, my next step, I'm a think ahead person. I'm 2 or 3, 4 albums, projects ahead at all times until now, because I don't make any projects, but I'm trying. Multiple streams of revenue, multiple creative ideas. I'm making films, I'm making movies, I'm making festivals, keeping in touch with everybody's music in order to make the right choices for the festivals. I'm lost. The album comes out. It does well, very well. Not the first week, but eventually, that's another thing too. It's like, I didn't do well on the first week. So I'm not investing because the first week numbers were strong and I know that this DVD is going to do well. I believe in this record so much and I can feel the resonating. I'm just dumping money into it. And eventually it makes some noise. I get a call. I don't know when this happens, and I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. We are walking at the ASR, Action Sports Trade Show, or something like that. I think it's what it's called. Action Sports Recreation, I don't know. It's a trade show for all surf brands, skate brands, extreme sports brands at the time. I believe it's in Long Beach, California. We are walking the floor, living legends, politicking, networking, checking it out. I'm sure Lucky talked us in there somehow. A guy is carrying shirts in a bag. This has to be, let me see if I'm going to get my dates right, brothers and sisters, because I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, 2002. Walking to ASR. There's a guy from Satellite Beach, Florida. Tony Solon, shout out to him. I feel like I have to say it now. Another white guy that was very kind and I love dearly. Tony Solon was walking the floor handing out shirts from a new brand called Hurley. Legends had LRG sponsorship. This is around the time that I found out that LRG was paying skaters, but they weren't paying rappers to wear their clothes because I was hanging out with skaters and I was like, yo, man, fuck this. I got to get a sponsorship where I get paid like skaters. Like I'm seen in magazines. People come to my shows. I want photo incentive. I want all these things. Shout out to the homie Diego who listens to the podcast at the Music District and works for the Music District in Fort Collins, Colorado. Also a nice musician as well. Nice with his beats. I want this sponsorship. So we're walking around ASR. Tony comes up and says, hey, there's this new brand called Hurley. Would you guys like some shirts? Out of his bag. Hurley doesn't even have a booth yet. Later, I found out that Hurley, started by Bob Hurley and a young man named Paul Gomez, who they were both working at Billabong. And the way I see it in my mind, probably not as fabulous, is there was a Jerry Maguire moment. Basically, I'm leaving. Who's coming with me? Paul came with him. They started Hurley. Stepping out on faith with your brothers. Whether it's hip hop, punk rock, surf culture, like that's, to me, those are the great moments in life. Bob Hurley, Paul Gomez, two men I greatly respect. And Tony Solon. So he gives us the shirts. I don't know what the fuck a Hurley is, bro. I'm like, you guys do photo incentive? He's like, we can talk about it. We can get you on Flow first. You get on Flow, that means they give you free shit. Then maybe you get photo incentive and then you get a deal, basically sponsorship. Tony was down, bro. He invited us to the big surf show, World whatever expo in Orlando. We had a fan base in Orlando. So we went out. We did model call, which is where you choose the models that will model the bikinis for the company. They invite us to do that. Mind blown. I don't know if they flew us down, gave us a hotel. I think we did a show. That's it. But I kept in touch with Tony. And I think we hung out. I don't know what happened, but Tony said I was still like trying to wear, like I wear a Hurley shirt here, wear the Hurley shirt here. This is also about you staying ready. You don't have to get ready. I'm putting in the work. This is a new surf company. I don't know shit about surfing, but I know that I got somebody who likes my music. He's talking to his boss, who I think at the time is Paul. And I said, I threw a show during something where Paul was in town. It might have been the following year Expo. And he said, I'm going to bring Paul to the show. We're going to talk about getting you at least with some photo incentive. I'm like, word. We do a show in Orlando. And it's the first time someone got stabbed at one of my shows. There's an altercation. I always try to stop the show. And like people have seen me, I'll hop in the crowd. I'll do what it takes to make sure everyone's safe if I can. And if I'm in the right frame of mind. So I'm not perfect, but I try. Because, once again, we go back to Walk Like a Man a little bit. I come from a place of extreme violence. I am not here at my job trying to do that. And we've said this in the podcast. I'll say it again. So many people ridicule me. You ain't got no niggas at your shows. I do not want niggas at my shows. I do not want all my real quote unquote N-words. Please stay home. I'll see you. I'll pop up at a swap meet. We can sibling. We can shoot dice. We can go to strip club. But don't come to my job because shit could get real because you're real. I do not care if there's no real N-words at my show, bro. Some people used to try to like put me down. Man, I want to rap for people who want to have a good time, whether they're white, black, straight, bi, non-binary. I don't care what the fuck, man. People who are intelligent and trying to have a good time and elevate humanity. If, and spend something at the merch table. If not, drink and have a good time. So that's why I'm really like, don't fight at my show, bro. Take that shit to somebody else's show. Some shit, Nuck If You Buck or whatever they did, the crunk shit. That they are in the fight and they rap about. Take it to somebody who's rapping about violence. I'm not endorsing violence or those vibes. But men get drunk, women get drunk. Shit happens. I get it. I fought at some hip hop shows or, something like it. I've got an aggro. Let's put it that way. There's an altercation. I break it up. We're good. Yeah. The guy goes, yeah, well, I'm good. He doesn't realize that he's been stabbed at the moment. So he goes, Murs rules the world. And collapse. I see his shirt go red, and then pow, he collapses on the stage. I'm like, holy fuck. It's like almost instantly, I guess when the scuffle broke out, someone called the police, and it's downtown Orlando. If you've ever, to me, no disrespect to Orlando, but to me, Orlando's where Disney World is, like where it's 5 different theme parks. It's huge. There's also Universal, and it's a vacation destination for everyone around the world because it's the closest to Europe, Africa, South America, the Caribbean. So people come from all over the world to party. And the people who service all these hotels and theme parks have to be on Disney all day. Like, yes, thank you. Disney has the best customer service. I love Disney. Hate me for it if you want. But there's that energy has to be balanced. I believe in balance. I believe in spiritual ley lines. So downtown Orlando is trill as fuck. You give of yourself all day at Space Mountain, and then you want to just go off, I'm sure. So it's a bunch of people like this, and then just, I can't even describe to you the vibe, but it's a vibe. And I love it. I love downtown Orlando. I love Disney. You just got to be ready for it. But this is me getting familiar with that vibe. I'm like, oh, snap. This motherfucker. And so the police were right there. Apparently the kid who stabbed the other kid just didn't believe it. When you stab somebody, it's not like it's on TV. Trust me, it's not like. So I think the individual stabbed him and then saw, and like they said he was just sitting on the curb with the weapon in front of him, like head in his hands, like, what the fuck did I just do? He also stabbed a friend of Tony's, who was a friend of mine I just met that night, who had came to the party. And so I had to come back and do a benefit for him. And I believe that's where Fonte showed up and we did the animal. And all this night is like, I don't know who Paul Gomez is. And I'm like, oh shit, the VP from Hurley is here. I'm not thinking about it at the time, but at the end I'm like, was here. You know what I mean? At the time I'm like, is the kid okay? So then the police pick the kid up, the ambulance, to me it happens in 2 minutes. And since there's nothing, they're like, yeah, you keep rapping. So I'm like, okay. And we just went back and did the show. Not knowing how severe everything else was until later. But yeah, it's like this time, there's lots of violence, other shit, like I said, I shouldn't and couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't, and won't talk about. But a lot of this violence leads me, and death leads me to getting sober. I'm like, fuck it. Stop drinking. I realized I've been having intense stomach aches my whole life, and they thought I had Giardia, parasite, I was lactose intolerant. I am allergic to dairy. I connected with my father's family on the 316 tour. Went to lunch. I connected with them on the first, on the High Road tour, 1998. I just pulled up at my auntie house. I found her. I got her address from my grandma. I pulled up and like, yo, I haven't seen you in 3 years since my dad died, whatever. But we loosely kept in touch. So she tells me at dinner one day, when I get there, I become vegan, and then she tells me, oh yeah, you're still allergic to dairy? I said, I'm allergic to dairy. How do you know that? I'm just vegan. And yeah, it turns out that I'm extremely lactose intolerant. I've never had one of these. I used to have the worst stomach aches. And we talked about that, like while I was passing blood, and like I didn't know what was going on. And then it all made sense. And she's like, oh, your dad, he didn't know much about you, but all he would say is that, oh, that boy can't have milk. We had to have soy milk from the moment he was born or when he was weaned, whatever. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, but now that I'm a parent, you don't remember so much shit. I wasn't mad at my mom, but I was like, yo, I could have not. So I'm vegan. Me and Eli are living together. We got a room with a weight bench. I'm working out. I'm running. I am not drinking alcohol, trying not to fornicate. Like, I am pure. But all this, when you get to Murray's Revenge, but all this is leading up to that. I am just quit cigarettes eventually. Like, I am trying to become the person that can be a father. I'm spending a lot of time with my homeboy passed away's girls. I call them my goddaughters, even though they're not. They call me uncle. But like, I'm driving from Van Nuys to West LA every day I can to take them to school, to pick them up from daycare. If mom's car breaks down, when she gets a car, I am trying to dive in full, because my homeboy was a great father. I forgot to add that. He would pop up on the block, drop his daughter off at elementary school and be on the block all day. But when 3 o'clock came, I gotta go pick up my daughters, put all the girls in the bath, put them to bed, then I'll be back outside. That's the kind of dude he was. And that's what I started saying, like, oh, you could be cool or you could still be active in your profession. Not active in the streets, but he was active in the studio and the streets, and an active father. There's room to make this work. A lot of my homies, you know, I have lots of fathers that are rappers, but they tour with me. They blah, blah, blah. Like, he was somebody that I saw, like, not have a regular 9 to 5 and not be a rapper touring, but still supporting this. It was just the way he showed up was different. And I knew him as a teenager. We knew each other from being kids. So it was just different. There's no disrespect to any of the other rapper fathers I know. It was just, he was the first one because he was like more like me. Like I was saying, I rap with a lot of people, but these were my people on our block. Like, those are my people. Like, that is, we speak the same language. We come from the same environment. This is deeper than rap. This is it. So when seeing him parent was like, all right, and how beautiful and cute and magnificent his daughters were, and his wife is my sister. Like, I love her. So showing up for them, I wanted to show up sober. I wanted to be that, and I wanted it for myself. One day, I finally started paying taxes. I figured that out. I didn't know I had to. I got a CPA. She's helping me save. I'm like, okay, I want to be a father, but I don't want to be the guy that gets somebody pregnant and then has to, like, okay, I got to learn how to be faithful. Like, I was trying to control my addictions before I met the woman I wanted to marry, before I had the kids I wanted to have, before I wanted to have the house or the money to buy the house before. So I'm thinking of all this shit. So that's why I'm pursuing a monthly check from a action sports company, because RJ D2 is telling me, we talked about, like, he's not able to get a loan. I need a paycheck stub. I need to have income tax receipts. I need all these things who's going to teach me that shit? Jay-Z? Dame Dash? No, they weren't rapping about that. But I learned a lot from the Master P, taught me a lot, but didn't teach me that. That's not exciting to rap about. I'm glad. I don't want them to teach. I'm not knocking them, but no. But yeah, man, accountants, taxes, paycheck stubs, monthly checks, because it's hard for a musician to get a place of residence. But I understood all this, and I'm changing my life before I have to. Paul Gomez, I'm scared, but Paul Gomez is a rough and tumble. He's from the inner county. This is what I learned about OC. Like, I moved to Buena Park thinking I made it. I'm out the hood. I'm doing good. And that is the hood of OC. Santa Ana, however you say it. Santa Ana, Buena Park, La Habra. It's some real shit going on over there. It's not the OC. But you watch the OC show, by Phantom Threat Phantom Planet, as Kamani corrected me, Phantom Planet. They are Phantom Threat. Shout out to Phantom Threat, though. If you haven't heard Phantom Threat, go listen to his music. He was recently hit by a car and still somehow is making still phenomenal music. Phantom Threat with 2 T's. And no A.
Yeah. I think I need to relax. Think I need a way out. Sometimes I'm too in my head. I need to figure it out. For they put 2 in my head. Depends how you run the route. This Amtrak, Pontiac interior like leather couch. This the tiger crouch. All intact, stay dangerous. Be safe, rip off a blouse. When it's time, you know. Read the signs. This sound like honey glaze, cinnamon throat.
But yeah, OC, man. It's rugged. I think it's a character named Ryan, whatever his name is, little dusty white boy. Tiny tiny blood, like little dude, short dude. But that part of the OC is real. It's real as fuck. So Paul is from that area. And he was like, I don't think, fortunately, the stabbing didn't faze him. I thought, oh, for sure, no one's going to let someone who has stabbings at his show. This is why I don't want real N-words at I don't want shit like this happening when I'm trying to get a fucking sponsorship with the Action Sports Surfboard Company, bro. And my thing is always too, is like, I don't bring my homies because my homies, they're not, like I said, like I said blah, 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 blah. And my homie said, this is what it is. Like, they not listening to me. They not scared of me. If it's some crip shit that needs to happen, it's going to happen regardless of wherever I'm at. Whoever's in there, it could be Barack Obama. If they see the wrong person or somebody say the wrong thing, it's lights out. And they love me, but they don't got that much love for me. They, because they don't. I won't say they don't love themselves. Like this is what they do. There's nothing they could say to make me not rap, and there's nothing I can do to make them not crip. That's how intrinsic it is. Fortunately, to who they are. So this is an incident where I had no control over. It wasn't my homies. Thank goodness. I'm sorry that it happened, but I think everyone came out of it all right. And I came out of it all right. Didn't scare Paul. I ended up getting in touch with Paul. And then one day, I think I was coming back from Europe or somewhere overseas, Australia maybe, and I got a call. Or I got a voicemail. I'm checking my voice. I can still see where I stand at LAX because Paul is a dynamic individual. He's like, look, man, I'm starting a company, a subsidiary through Warner Brothers. Kid that used to surf for me hurt his knee. We set him up with the label. Imagine that. Something like that. I don't know if that story's true. Like I said, this is just my side. And they don't believe that I know you. They're young, they're hip, they're into your shit. They like your albums, whatever. Like, he doesn't really know rap. He just knows, oh, Murs, yeah, that kid wants to be down with me. So now I'm starting this label, and this label wants to sign. And I don't know at the time that this is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers run by the son of the CEO of Warner Brothers, who was Tom Wiley, his son Ryan Wiley, and his homie Jordan is the president of that thing. I think it's Jordan, and Ryan was a VP. I'm not knowing who they are. I believe Jordan's someone of his parents or someone else important in the industry. All I know is I want to get this sponsorship from Hurley. So he's like, just fucking take the meeting. I don't give a fuck what indie shit you're doing. Take the fucking meeting. And I was like, all right, now I'm knowing Paul's like old school, like early jujitsu master, can break your hand. He's a local, I won't call him boy, but local dude. Like fucking the surfers that'll fuck you up type shit. The dudes who beat up Daniel's son or whatever the fuck, North Shore, whatever the fuck. That type of shit, bro.
For surfers, North Shore is the place.
You dangerous. Better you go home.
Yeah, kook, you don't belong over here. Nobody messes with the hooey.
Walking barefoot in board shorts, little gut, some tattoos, tan, some glasses, and the fucking Ed Hardy hat, and it'll break your fucking nose with his pinky. I'm like, all right, Paul, I'm fucking, like, just another form, like, we talking about the dude who lived in the apartment building from the other, he's a crip, like, that older crip dude that I had to go talk to about moving my goddaughters and everybody in to make sure, I was like, I'm gonna be coming in and out here, make sure I'm good, bro. He was, like, Paul had that kind of, like, you talk to certain men, you're like, all right, bro. So he's like, take the meeting. I'm like, yes, I'm not, I respect you as, like, as in the primal sense of that, but also I want to fucking get this Hurley sponsorship, taking the fucking meeting. Pull up to their house. These motherfuckers got hammocks and shit. It's like the beach version of like the Google offices, but in one like small house. Like they're just hanging out. They're young kids. They got some money. They got some backing. They want to sign cool, dope shit. They want to sign fucking, you know, I'm happy that, you know, because in my mind, major labels still are this demon that want to only sign negative rap because the Illuminati is making black people rap about guns and that you can't, you know, all the shit that we were fed through conscious rap. Not true. Or maybe they just never approached me, these Illuminatis, and, you know, but I was on a major label. This is a subsidiary of a major label. I'm the first, like, one of the first industry plants. They're like, we don't, if you look at Murray's Revenge, it doesn't say Warner Brothers anywhere on there. They want it to look like an indie label so that they can keep the indie thing going. A lot of these rappers putting out mixtapes are funded by major labels, but they just let it go to build the buzz. They consider it part of the promo budget. But they've already been signed for years. It just looks like they're independent and on the come up so that you buy into this story. They didn't do it with me from the beginning, but that's how they wanted to start it with me. But I had already built a little something. They didn't want to destroy what I built by stamping a major label. They understood how fans felt. And the stigma, which is unfair because eventually I do sign to Warner Brothers and they don't make me rap about anything. And this is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers that don't want to make me rap. Make the album you want. Say the things you want to say. I take the meeting. I'm like, bro, I just sold 50,000 or 70,000. They give me my SoundScan. I'm like, I just sold that. Supposedly, I'm supposed to get $5 per record. So I was like, so if my math's right, your math is right. I just made, off of the first album, I made $300,000. Off of this album, I'll make another $300,000. Why the fuck would I sign you for 50? They're offering me like $50K or something. I said, the deal is, I didn't even let them give me a number. I said, I want $250,000. Period. I didn't know them, you know. And I was probably being a dick. I was fucking 25, 27. I'm not trying to be cool, but this may not have been what happened, but I'm pretty sure this is what happened. I said, I want $250,000 or no deal. I took the meeting because of Paul. I want to be on Hurley. I'm out of here. Peace, y'all. Nice to meet you. They said, and then I remember me and Eli were living in Van Nuys. I remember they called and I went outside because cell service, not the best. I think on my Nextel phone, I go out. And I'm pumped up with this indie spirit. I still think that major labels are the devil. So I'm ready to turn up. It's lit, bro. What? Y'all want to sign me? Motherfucker, come on. I never shopped a demo in my life. I'm not shopping shit. I didn't ask for y'all. Y'all asked for me. This is my ignorant, arrogant, dickhead mentality. I'm young, dumb, and full of cum. Especially, I'm trying to be celibate at this point. So, I'm really young, dumb, and full of cum. He said, hey, man, we got it up to $85,000. I said, I told you $250,000. I looked up at the sky and then like yelled at him, go fuck yourself. And hung up in their face and went back inside and watched The Sopranos or something. Very rude, unnecessary. But yeah, like I'm, things are happening around me. Like I don't know if we talked about Danger Mouse and I had done a couple records.
Dear Marcus, I know it's been hard times since they made you the victim of your so-called crime. Kinda snatched you out the game of life. In your prime, they already took one. Won't let them take 9. Since birth, it seems the deck was stacked against you to fail. With your father not there, mom's in and out of jail. But you saw through it all and you chose to excel. I can't see why they chose to lock you in a cell. Well, I'm praying that you're free by the time you get this. Never known a convict.
He called me, I think it was Jessica from Spectre who paired us together. We had dinner at Fred's 62 or wherever the fuck in Los Feliz. And he's like, look, man, I really want to work with you. I'm a huge fan. But I'm just doing this remix. I've just been consuming me, man. I'm calling it the Grey Album. I'm taking all the samples from the White Album of the Beatles and putting it with Jay-Z's Black Album, calling it the Grey Album.
Never been a nigga this good for this long, this hood, or this pop, this hot, or this strong, with so many different flows. This one's for this song, the next one I switch up, this one will get bit up. These bucks too lazy to make up shit. They crazy, they don't paint pictures, they just trace me. You know what? Soon they forget where they pluck. They whole staff them and try to reverse the outcome. I'm like, tough. I'm not a biter, I'm a writer for myself and others. I say a big verse, I'm only bigging up my brother.
I forgot about Ninth Wonder doing Godson. Let's not forget that was huge for him as well before we met.
I carried the cross, a Virgin Mary had an abortion. I still be carried in a chariot. My stampeding horses had to bring it back to New York. I'm happy that the streets is back in New York. For you rappers, I carry the cross. I carry the cross, and Virgin Mary had an abortion. I still be carried in a chariot. My stampeding horses, I had to bring it back to New York. I'm happy that the streets is back in New York. For you rappers, I carry the cross. Y'all can keep y'all weak beats from your corny producers. There's a new king in the streets, you're gonna get used to. I was the old king in the streets that y'all once hated, but now I reinvented myself, and y'all all with me. Nas, N-A-S me.
It wasn't as huge for me because I'm not a super Nas guy and I'm not a beat guy. So, but man, that do-rag, that Nas was there's never been a Nas album without a song I love on it. So when I say I'm not a Nas guy, I definitely recognize the man is great. Not just a song I like. There's a song I love on every Nas album. At least one. But do-rags, like, so Ninth did God's Stepson or something like that, I think. So I was like, okay, that's similar shit. All right, beat nigga shit. Okay, who cares? You know? Then I'm at home watching CNN. I'm like, oh shit. He went mega out of. I go to the grocery store. Like, he's on the cover of Time magazine. What the fuck? I just had vegan eggs with this motherfucker. Okay, you know, he's pulling up with me like years later. We're still in contact. He's like, you know, he's telling me, man, you know, let's start working on our project. That was another thing that could have happened after my homie died. I was like, I could have went with Danger Mouse. We were talking about it. But so that happens, the Grey album shit happens, but then he man, it's like he's telling me like, yo, I want to record with you, but I gotta go to Atlanta right now. I'm like, right now? Yeah, I'm gonna catch the last flight. Cause CeeLo, I believe, was working on a jazz. This is my side of the story. CeeLo, who's another great rapper who shows a lot of love, was working on the Jazzy Faye album. And in the wee hours, he would do this weird thing called Gnarls Barkley with this weird kid from Stone Mountain, I think, or wherever over Danger Mountain from. It was like a thing that like he had to like go and work with him when CeeLo had time, because he had so much other, at the time, bigger shit going on. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go and do this Gnarls Barkley thing with CeeLo. So let's hook up when I get back from Atlanta. I'm like, all right. Next thing I know, holy shit.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.
That holy shit is happening around me. So I'm like, I am in the right place. Give me some real fucking money, man. Cause like, it's happening now. You know what I mean? Like, the shit that happens is happening, and it's happening to people, weird black dudes like me. Nah, you gotta pay me, bro. What the fuck we talking about? So after I did something stupid and yelled at them, I thought about it. I said, okay. Oh, that's what they came back. That's what they said 85K, and then you can sign whoever you want to sign, and we'll give you 5% of the net gross, or of the net of something, and blah, blah, blah. Something. And I said, huh? And so when I had time to collect, I was like, oh, they want me to be an A&R. And I sat on it. I was like, oh, and then Paul wants me to be a part of this too. He's somehow affiliated with this label. I got it. I want a Hurley sponsorship deal for X amount of dollars a month. And then what you're asking me to do is A&R. So if I bring in artists and you sign them for 5% and blah, 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 and I get 5%, I was like, just give me a salary. Fuck the points. Because I need these paychecks stuff, because I'm going to have a family someday. I want to marry somebody's daughter and buy a house. Now I can't be the weirdo that lives with the fucking rich lawyer or doctor that I met at Cal Berkeley. That was my plan. And make weird 4-track music while I play Mr. Mom all day. I can't do that. So now I got to get this check. Weird black niggas on the rise. I'm about to get this check. So I got a literal check, not the bag. Now I got to get a check stub so I can invest in property. Because now I have a family and my grandfather bought property, blah, blah, blah. I got to do that. I said, okay, that's an A&R gig. Fuck the points. Let me call my homie Chase, who was at the time working for a label called Artist Direct. He was an A&R. I said, Chase, who went on to be the manager for A$AP Rocky for years, and then now I think he manages Benny the Butcher and somebody from Griselda and other shit. He also owns a coffee shop called Haroon. Go check out Haroon. My brother Chase was interning at labels. He's also a dope MC. I'll let that go. He finally came through and rapped on my shit. We've been friends for 30 years. That's my brother. And I've never done a song with him, and I finally got him to be, not got him, we hadn't really, I finally got him on a song. That's the only feature I wanted for my last album, and he's on it. God bless him. Thank you, Chase. And write this, because I could always call him. I said, Chase, how much you get paid to be an A&R? He said, this much. I said, cool. I'll just ask for half that. So I was like, I called him back. I said, all right, don't go fuck yourself. Never mind that guy that just called you, fucking idiot, that said to go fuck yourself. How about this? I need Hurley to give me this much a month. I need you to pay me this much a month in a check as a salary. And as long as I'm on this label like this, I want these salaries. And then you give me a ninth, because I had to split the advance with ninth. Then you give me the advance, and I want this many points on my album. I asked for more points than Puff Daddy got. And which now wasn't a problem, but when I had, eventually you see that I get upstream to Warner Brothers, they had to honor that, which was weird. But they did. More proof that it's not as demonic and evil as they say. If you know your business. A friend of mine that was, working for a label I signed to, he's like, you've known more about your contract here and understood more of it than some people's lawyers. You've understood the contract better than anyone's ever signed here. Someone said, I just did Eli's podcast. Someone said, sometimes I forget how smart Murs is. I don't think I'm that smart, but I care about what I care about. I attribute it more to, and maybe it's, like as we learn that intelligence is a spectrum with autism somewhere on that spectrum. Like the things I care about a lot. I can tell you a lot about wrestling. I can tell you a lot about hip hop. I can tell you a lot about fucking comic books. Insane amounts. And, I have a friend with autism, my friend Matthew, and we talk about the Dodgers because I know he knows. And we, it's like we nerd out on that together. And, he's on the spectrum, so it is what it is. But I can recognize that, so I don't know, I'm not gonna say I'm smart, but maybe I am smart. You can take it or leave it. But when I hyper focus on something, I know my shit. So I presented that deal. I said, I want the 85, I want this many points, I want the deal from Hurley, and I want an A&R job with a check every month so I could have that stub, because my CPA needs that so that we can start to build my credit so that I could buy a fucking house for my family and my wife that I don't have yet. My vegan family, wife, and now. And it's just like what I was saying, stay ready, you don't have to get ready. My mom and I talk to my son all the time about this. Is like we had, me and Granny didn't always see eye to eye, but I always loved and respected her. And the only time we really had a fallout is when I told her I had to be a rapper. And 30 years later, I'm a fucking rapper. And years later, I'm a homeowner. I own multiple properties, and I have a vegan family. This is what I was trying. I fell off, and there's some ups and downs, and there's going to be some ups and downs with my alcoholism and my fornication and all that. But the goal, and just like this marathon, I hope I can apply this thing. Like, I'm going to get there. When I decide that I'm going to do something, I'm hyper-focused. And this was me laying the groundwork. Like, I got sober. I started working out. I had made the album that I wanted to make that put me in a position, and it would have been me and the homie 4 or 5 in this position. Me and 4 or 5 were, I would have made this deal for us. No disrespect tonight. But this deal, all the moves I made were into the beginning in 316 were to get us here, to get my neighborhood here. And it fucking fell apart. That's why the album's called Murray's Revenge. It's for him. That's why the last song says, if a soul is avenged through the deeds of a friend, then success has always been the best form of revenge.
Should I die? Don't look for the dude that killed me. Look for a brighter tomorrow. And in spite of the sorrow, live every moment to the fullest so your life isn't hollow. And you can holler out my name from the top of the game. And should you pass, homie, I'ma promise I'll do the same. For if a soul is avenged through the deeds of a friend, the success has always been the best form of revenge. The end.
I don't know where I'm at, man. I've cried a couple times during this. You guys know why he calls me Murray. We just became just fucking Murray. I became fucking Murray. His family won out. We were calling each other fucking Murray. His family won out. A lot of Curtis Mayfield I listened to when I did this record, and I think it's what Revenge. I think Freddie's Dead or something. There's a Revenge song on there. I think it was Curtis Mayfield I studied, and James Brown. No, James Brown was for 316, I think. Curtis Mayfield, some more shit. I don't curse on this record. I was really trying to clean my life up. My grandmother came to an in-store. She saw me. My grandmother came to a store, my first show at the Roxy that I sold out. And she watched me. My grandmother's a Jehovah's Witness. I've never seen my grandmother curse. I've never seen my grandmother extremely angry. My grandmother, to me, is a saint. My grandmother came to the show. I didn't change what I do. I gave the people the show they came to see. But I did say, okay. And I guess that's what I was trying to do when I calmed down. That's what I'm trying to say. If I can meet you and not offend you, I will. I've made a lot of albums. I want to make a lot more albums. But my grandmother is showing interest. If she could go out of her way to come to a show and swallow me saying that and then still say, I'm proud of you, you did a good job, I can make a clean album for her. Me and Ninth both his parents are, like between my grandparents and my parents' age. And I met his parents and I wanted them to be able to enjoy it because I went back immediately the next year. Ninth said, let's do it again. So I went back and I brought my brother and we had Thanksgiving with his family. So now I know, my brother, I know your mother, your babies, your wife, blah, 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 blah. Let's make an album. We are family. Let's make a family album. So Murray's Revenge was going to be clean. And this is like me cleaning house. The album cover is white. There's a lot of symbolism. I do plan extensively. All of that is happening as we get ready to start this album. This is the Murray's Revenge intro. It's hard to tell the story because so much is happening at all the times. I will be basically off this label by the time this album drops. I also told them, they said that in the contract, because I read all whatever fucking pages of it, that I could be upstream. I told them I don't want to be upstream to Warner Brothers ever. I know a lot of people that they pitched it to me as, and if you do this amount of units, then you can have the option of upstream. I was like, never, motherfucker. DMX said in battle, when's the last time you read a book? Never, nigga. Like that, never. You crazy?
Yo, when's the last time you read anything, man? Never, motherfucker. What you need to start thinking about is your motherfucking seed, man. Cause Shorty can't eat no books, dog. Yo, my Shorty's alright, man. The fuck, man?
I'm gonna take these check stubs, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was still trying to stop rapping as soon as possible back then. I guess that's also something that happened. On Walk Like a Man, I had a song with E40, Chingo Bling, and John Cena. It was supposed to also have Violent J, ICP. He wanted too much money. I couldn't afford it. I could afford it, but it just didn't seem like it didn't make sense. So baby, what you owe me? Don't play with me, homie. H-U-S-T-L-E, hustler. You never find a dime that ain't mine, motherfucker. Go not to be broken, have to stroll like a sucker. So baby, what you owe me? Don't play with me, homie.
If 40 Water ain't gonna give it to you late, if 40 Water gonna give it to you straight. Way before 1988, I used to quarterback wait, deal whatever it had to take to put out my first tape. Trying to outsmart the boys in blue, never knew how much I made. I used to throw them off with my glasses and my high top fade. And I never pedal with me, just that A1 yo-yo, man. That's off like coca leaf. Stapler in my da-da-da-das, hovers between my booty cheeks. The same old clothes for weeks, gritty and Savalosa. A turfed out motherfucker and a Granada smoking rope. Sipping on King Cobra, bankroll full of Huns. Slumping that Public Enemy, my Uzi weighs a ton.
And Ian Davis also hooked up, I believe, the E40 feature. Thank you so much. E40 is my favorite rapper of all time. Of all times. Back to Chase Infinite. Me and Chase used to stand out front of Pico in front of a record store arguing vehemently about this, like going line for line. He said he loved Nas. We get Nas and E40 battles. But me and Lucky went to Australia and the album was done. But when I went to Australia, I said, this album is done. I got this advance. I got these checks coming in. I did a song with E40. My brother is gone. I was supposed to start a label with. Like, I'm done with rap, man. I did everything. If I keep playing now, I'm playing on borrowed time. I still feel that way. I was at my peak in 2004 for me as far as feeling. I had done everything I had come to do. I rapped with E40. I had a song that motherfuckers thought was classic. I was like, man, all this is extra. The LA song was done. I did a song repping my city. I got a clean album for my grandma. I headlined at the Roxy. Like, I didn't want a lot of big shit. I'm not into the spotlight. I had my respect. I had been in the Source. I was fulfilled. Finished the album. Went to Australia. Took a year off of the road. So we had already had Sweet Lord. I think Sweet Lord might have been done before Murray's Revenge even came out.
Yeah. What up, though? Murs, Ninth Wonder, Sweet Lord, mi amigos, my people. Welcome y'all to the Hip Hop Pizza Party, the largest ice cream social extravaganza in hip hop history. Look. Praise his name, 2 kids in the game. Came back a 3rd time to serve y'all gain. And it's sweeter than sugar cane. Rough as a bullet stain, good music and balances. What we bring to the game.
Because we did the album and it took a year. They did the label shit. It's a big machine. It takes a lot of movements, checks, and balances. So that's also how I was on the label for about a year. By the time the album dropped, though, I was on my way out. And I don't know how to tell that story, but I think we're going to stop here because it's getting long. But I don't know if I should tell the story because, like I said, this all happens before the album comes out. Pay Dues gets created. That's why I'm playing on borrowed time. Like, how can I give back now? Like, what am I going to do? Also, this streaming shit is on the horizon. I'm seeing this in 04, 05. Like, you can't download a show. And I'm on the Warped Tour and I'm thinking, like, also, I'm seeing, like, our fans are growing up. How do we keep younger people engaged with this brand of hip-hop? I see how punk rock does it. Hip hop doesn't have anything like that. So my mind is, like I said, I'm working on fucking many different levels. The multiverse, the Murs multiverse. No one told you today I fucking love you. Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in LA podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace.